Hey, sweet souls. I am happy to be spending some time with you. I had someone ask me a question today about loving ourselves and what is the best way that I have found to work on myself and to create a different kind of life, and to then, because I'm creating a different type of life, to have different kinds of relationships in my life, maybe something better than what I've had in the past. And I love this question so much. And hands down, the number one thing that has helped me to learn how to love myself is self-talk. I no longer allow myself to speak poorly of myself in my head or my mind. So I can think back to a time after my divorce when my life was really not going how I wanted it to, and I was really struggling with despair, worry, fear, depression, and anxiety. I was looking behind me and looking ahead of me, and I did not like what was going on, and I was really in quite a spiral. And I remember saying things to myself like, you suck, you're a shitty parent, you are effing mess, you're a horrible person, and you shouldn't even be allowed to live. Like, what the F is wrong with you? I remember saying these kinds of things to myself and bawling. And I said things like, you're a fuck up. You suck so much. How could you do this? Who the F do you think you are? You're an effing mess. These are the kinds of things that I was saying to myself when I would cry myself to sleep at night. And it was a horrific feeling. Such despair. But if we fast forward now, 8 years later, I do not ever allow myself to speak to myself that way. Not ever. I've done a tremendous amount of work, and it truly is the one thing that has changed my life the most profound is that self-talk. If I wouldn't say it to 5-year-old me, if I wouldn't say it to 5-year-old Carrie, I will not say it to 45-year-old Carrie. It doesn't get said. Instead, what I do is I have 2 prompts that I use from my teacher. And then I also have other prompts that I use in some of my courses that I offer. And I'll share one of them with you tonight. So the first prompt I have is something like, if I notice I'm having a negative thought, which now isn't very common, but through these 8 years, I had to rewire my brain. I had to train myself to talk to myself in a very loving way. So something I would do is I have it on a sticky note, and it says, that's just like me to, and then I have a blank. I put this on my kitchen cupboard because I spend a lot of time in my kitchen. And so I would look at these every day, and I'd say, oh, that's just like me to take really beautiful care of my home. Or, oh, that's just like me to pay all of my bills on time. Or, oh, that's just like me to be a really sweet friend. That's just like me to take really good care of myself today and feed myself good food. That's just like me to be loving to my children when they're in my presence. Taking my thoughts captive and not allowing me to speak to myself in a harmful or destructive way has been the number one way I have learned how to love myself. Our self-monologue that is playing in here is of vital importance to our life. And especially of vital importance if we want to change our life. So, dear one, I ask you, are you wanting to change a pattern in your life? Are you wanting to change the type of relationships that you have in your life? This is one powerful way to do that, is by changing the way you talk to yourself. Another prompt I have is, and I have it written down and I'll share it with you. So the first part says, even if, and then a blank. So even if blank, what I really love and feel committed to is blank. And as a deliberate, dedicated action, I now blank. My teacher taught this to me, my Taoist teacher, Sifu Kelly. And this one has been phenomenally important to me. So, if you're having a rough thought, or you're noticing you're getting caught up in a rough emotion where the thoughts have already taken hold, they have turned into thoughts, become feelings, become emotion in our body. So the thought has become a feeling, and now the feeling has taken over, and I am sensing this emotion. Let's use grief. So I had a thought about, this isn't going the way I thought it would. Now I'm feeling sad, and the sadness has turned into grief in my body, or grief in my spirit. Okay, fair enough. That happens in life. What I have learned that I can do is I go over to my desk or to my kitchen, and I look at this little sticky note, and I repeat this, and I do this lesson. I say, even if I feel really sad right now, what I really love and feel committed to is a life of peace and honoring my heart. As a deliberate, dedicated action, I now snap my fingers. What that does, and what my Sifu, my teacher, taught me, was that this pivots the brain and it creates a new neural pathway. So if we get stuck in the old thought of like, I'm sad, I don't like this, this isn't going the way I thought it should, I hate this sucks, like this whole line of thought that we can get into when we're upset about something. What this does is like, it pivots you. It's like, I notice that I am having a thought, like, I don't like this. Take that captive. Okay. And then I go to my little prompt. Even if I don't like this thought or how I'm feeling, what I really love and feel committed to is living a life of peace and honoring my heart. As a deliberate, dedicated action, I now tap my heart 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Taking that action pivots the mind and changes the pathways. And it's like, no, I'm going to take this thought captive, and I'm going to change what I'm saying to myself. That has been the biggest, most profound change that has led me to deep self-love. So imagine that if I won't allow myself to say something disrespectful or hurtful or rude to myself, I absolutely will not allow another to do it more than once, because I will not be in their presence. Imagine how that changes your life. Imagine how that would change your relationship. Imagine how that might change everything, because you realize that I love myself so much that A, I'm a beacon of love to everyone that I come in contact with. And then B, if I'm not being shown the same type of love from another, I walk away, because I know my worth. I know how much I love myself, and I won't allow there to be less than that given in any relationship. That is how I have changed my life the most profoundly, is these simple exercises in taking thoughts and feelings captive and changing it, changing the narrative, and pivoting into something that I choose. I choose to honor my heart. I choose a peaceful life. Even though I feel upset, even though I feel sad right now, I choose to live a life of purpose and joy. as a dedicated action, I'm going to give myself a hug. I do these kinds of little prompts all day. Anytime. You will never ever again hear me saying, what the F is wrong with you? Or who do you think you are? God, you're such an idiot. No, I do not talk to myself that way, ever. On my desk, I now have 2 framed photographs of myself as a little girl. Very sweet, cute little pictures. I wish I had thought of this so I could show them to you. A picture of me when I was 6 and a picture of me when I was 7. And I look so sweet and so precious. And anytime I start to get down or I start to get in any kind of negative thought pattern, I look at those little girls and I think, I would never say this to her. I will not say this to me. And I honor that inner child. I honor who I am. I honor my heart, knowing that I'm safe, I am worthy, and I am enough. And I'm going to give myself everything that I desire in that moment, which is thoughtfulness, tenderness, love. Feels so good to get to this space of loving yourself. It is a lifetime commitment. It is a lifetime project. I will never stop this work. But what's really beautiful about that too is like the caliber of relationships that you then allow in your life changes. And it becomes higher vibrational, more in alignment, and much deeper love. And I want to encourage you to keep going and feel free to use these prompts I've shared. And if you have a prompt or an idea that you practice, would you please share it with us? Because it would be a benefit to us all. So love to you.